Hi, I'm Jean Chatzky. This is my blog, jeanchatzky.com, and we are all here to introduce the Debt Diet with its new Pay It Down application to help consumers get out of debt as quickly and cheaply as possible. So let's sign in and I'll show you how it works. We start with an assessment of how ready a consumer is to make this change. And in our example, the consumer says they're ready to get going in about 6 months. And all along the way, I'm there as a video coach of sorts for encouragement. I'm saying something like, you can do this. If you just start to try. There's a text version. There we go. All right, here, the Debt Diet is very different from other debt solutions because we understand that changing is really hard for people. So we incorporated stage-based strategies from behavioral change experts who've helped tens of thousands of people do difficult things like quitting smoking and losing weight. And we know that consumers get to the point where they can actually make a change by working through the stages. So we have lots of activities to get them ready. For example, they have to deal with their roadblocks, whether they have a roadblock in not knowing where to begin or whether they're fearful that they're going to have to give up things that they enjoy. If we click on that, we'll ask them to actually take a look at the payoffs, the good things about making this sort of a change. And they can choose from a pre-populated list of items. They can type in their own. The site's intelligent, so it actually remembers what consumers have done along the way, and it saves so that they can come back for reinforcement. The Debt Diet also helps users find the money to pay down their debt faster. We have a lot of different ways to do this, but for example, we'll show them the impact of changing their withholding. A consumer who got a tax refund last year of, let's say, $1,200 can actually free up $100 a month in cash to use to pay down their debts. Or we can look at the impact of lowering the interest rate that you may be paying on your credit card. This consumer can't pay his bills, but he knows that he's valuable because he's been with the card for such a long time. So if he's got $20,000 in credit card debt and he makes a very, very small reduction in interest rate from just 21% to 18%, all of a sudden there's an extra $50 a month. And after you go through these exercises and the others that help you find the money, you can see how much you've actually found in this session, and here we've just found $150 a month, which is pretty significant. Now today, onto this foundation, we are laying a powerful new tool, the Pay It Down application, so that once you find the money, the consumer can use that money to pay down debt in as fast and as cheap as absolutely possible. Pay It Down is powered by DebtGoal, and it's driven by DebtGoal's proprietary algorithm. So I'm going to turn it over to Scott to tell you a little bit more.
Thanks, Jean. So DebtGoal and Pay It Down picks up where Jean's application leaves off. If Jean gets people emotionally ready, then we pick up with the heavy lifting of how to get out of debt in a day-to-day fashion. So what is DebtGoal, and what is the SmartPay Plan? So DebtGoal, simply put, is the Weight Watchers for debt. We're the leader in the do-it-yourself debt reduction space, addressing one of the biggest social problems out there. Roughly 50% of American households have a debt problem, and for the vast majority of these people, the problem is not inability to pay, but rather a lack of organization. And DebtGoal addresses this in 3 ways. One, we help people get organized, we help them create a plan, and we help them stay motivated and stick to their plan. So let me walk you through how we do that. So the first thing we do is give people a consolidated view of their debts. Now, I would imagine for most of us in the room that sounds like a pretty simple task, but we have users with 30 different credit cards. Now, I don't really know how that happens, but if you imagine that these balances change, the payment changes, they can have up to 4 different APRs on a credit card. Those can change at any time, and the statements come due at different points in the month. You can imagine the organizational problem that this creates. So we take that information, we distill it down, and we present it in an easy schedule. We show their account, their APR, their highest APR on the card. We show their balance, what they're required to pay, and then the due date. So we show them basically what this debt is, what they need to do with this debt every month. And for many people, it's the first time they've ever seen this. The second thing we do is we help them create a plan. Now, the plan starts with creating a monthly commitment. This is the amount that they're going to pay every month towards their debt. And unique to DebtGoal, because we're able to link to their accounts, which is key to simplifying this list and simplifying the administration of it, we link to their accounts and we pull in their data as it changes. Because we can do that, we pull in their purchases. We recognize that life happens. People are going to charge on their cards even when they're trying to get out of debt. But we expose this to people to create a stay-on-track payment, which is how much people would have to pay to stay on track with their original goal. We take that and we divide it amongst the accounts. So that their total amount gets divided in a way that they specify that optimizes and minimizes the total amount of interest they'll pay over time. Gets them out of debt as quickly as possible. And then they can simply follow that, record their payment, and keep going. The third thing we do is keep people engaged. We motivate them, and we do that several ways. One, and most importantly, the application itself is interactive. It's not a passive reporting tool. Users interact with it, they record what they do, and as they record different actions, we show them the impacts of it. We take those actions, we show them how they're tracking month to date. And we show them the savings that this generates. So if they make a payment, some of that is going to principal, which will result in future interest rates. We show that to them just to keep them motivated. Most people feel like when they make a credit card payment, they're throwing it in the trash, but that's not true. Finally, we show them how much debt they're paying off, when they're tracking to get out of debt, and how much they'll save. And they can see, if I don't log out, they can see how they're trending. We'll see if that logs in. So they can see visually how much debt they've paid off and what their balance has been over time and how they're tracking. So to further keep people motivated, we provide additional functionality. We have a community where people can engage, share tips and tricks. We also have a success feed. People like to be recognized publicly. We show what's happening. We also have accelerator actions, which are tips and tricks for paying off debt more quickly. And one of these that has been our most popular one is rate negotiations. Now, in 2002, there was a famous study done by a public interest group that published the results of a group of people who had called their credit card companies to negotiate lower rates. And it's one of the most famous articles ever written, but since then there's been nothing. And we decided that we could take our proprietary data set from our customers and make it publicly available. We could, in essence, push out these results to help other credit card users in these trying economic times negotiate lower rates. And as Gene Chatsky said, this is one of the first things that you'd want to do. So what do we show? We show people, by credit card issuer, we show people the average success rate. We show people the average negotiation that people have gotten. We let people estimate how much they could save over the life of their loan if they were to get the average rate. And when it comes time to negotiate, we tell them what to say, what they should know in advance, and what to ask if they run into problems. But most powerfully, we show what other users have experienced and their tips and tricks. We believe that real users plus real feedback equals real results. So that's DebtGoal and the new NegotiateMyRates.com application. If you would like to learn how DebtGoal or the debt diet can help your customers or your employees, please visit us at our booth after the presentation. Thank you.